Three technologies exist that can heat your home, pump your water, and control your climate with zero utility bills. Each one has worked for centuries, but each one was quietly removed from building codes across North America and Europe between 1970 and 2020. They told you these systems were dangerous, inefficient, or outdated. However, the engineering data tells a completely different story. By the end of this video, you'll know everything behind their secret and whether they are safe to use. In 2014, a permaculture research station in Montana documented something remarkable. A 200-square-meter home was heated through an entire winter using only 3 to 4 kilo of wood per day. A conventional wood stove burns through 20 kilo or more to achieve the same result. This was a rocket mass heater built from fire brick, cob, and scrap metal. On the same property, a hydraulic ram pump pushed water 15 meters uphill to a storage cistern. No electricity, no fuel, just the physics of flowing water. Beneath the insulated foundation, an earth battery kept interior temperatures stable at 21 degrees C, even when outside temperatures dropped to 30. The combined material cost for all three systems came in under $3,000. The average North American homeowner pays between $15,000 and $40,000 for conventional heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, plus well pumps, plus utility connections. Those systems need replacing every 15 to 20 years. The Montana trifecta has been running for over a decade with almost zero maintenance. The Aprovecho Research Center in Oregon documented rocket mass heater thermal efficiency above 90%. A conventional wood stove operates between 40 and 60%. A standard furnace loses another 15 to 20% through ductwork alone. Clemson University Extension Services published testing data showing hydraulic ram pumps can lift water 50 feet or more using nothing but falling water energy. You sacrifice 3 to 15% of your water flow to pump the remaining 85 to 97% uphill forever, with no external power input. The earth battery principle has been documented by the University of Saskatchewan and the Building Science Corporation. Soil temperature at 2 and 1 to 2 meters depth stays constant between 12 and 16 degrees BC, regardless of surface conditions. Three technologies, each tested by accredited institutions, each more efficient than commercial alternatives, each dramatically cheaper to build and maintain. So, why are they not in any building textbook you have ever read? The answer takes us back 7,000 years to the Xinlei culture in northeast China. Archaeologists near Shenyang discovered heated sleeping platforms called kang. These were sophisticated thermal mass systems that channeled combustion gases through clay and stone to provide radiant heat for hours after the fire died. By 37 BCE, the Goguryeo kingdom in Korea had refined this into the Ondol system. Meanwhile, Roman engineers were building the Hippocaust. The bathhouse complex at Bath in England used this system starting around 60 CE. The common thread across civilizations separated by thousands of miles is the same insight. Burn hot, store heat in mass, radiate slowly. This is not ancient superstition. This is thermodynamics. The rocket mass heater, as we know it, was rediscovered by Ianto Evans in the 1980s. His book, published in 2006, has become the foundational text for a global revival. But Evans did not invent anything. He recovered knowledge that industrialization had buried. The hydraulic ram pump has a similarly distinguished lineage. In 1775, John Whitehurst built the first documented ram pump in Derbyshire, England. The installation at Chatsworth House operated continuously from 1893 to 1967, 74 years of uninterrupted service with original components. The physics are elegant. Water flowing downhill builds momentum. When a waste valve clacks shut, that momentum creates a pressure spike, forcing water up to a cistern positioned higher than the pump itself. The cycle repeats automatically indefinitely. The Earth battery concept predates written history, but its most spectacular ancient application came from Persia around 400 BCE. Engineers built yakhchal structures that kept ice frozen in the desert. No refrigeration, just massive thermal mass walls, and the understanding that the Earth itself is a temperature battery. For 7,000 years, humans heated homes, pumped water, and controlled climate without monthly utility payments. Then, in less than a century, this knowledge nearly vanished. Here is how that happened. Open the International Residential Code and turn to Section 1414 governing heating appliances. One requirement matters. Heating appliances must be listed. That single word is the lock on the door. Listed means certified by an agency. A rocket mass heater built from fire brick and cob is a site-built assembly that varies with every installation. No manufacturer produces rocket mass heaters because the market is too small to justify certification costs. No certification means no listing. No listing means no code compliance. No code compliance means no building permit. In 2009, a couple named Ernie and Erica Wisner applied to install a rocket mass heater near Missoula, Montana. They had documentation showing emissions and efficiency numbers far exceeding code-compliant alternatives. The permit was denied. The building official said, "We cannot approve what is not in the code." The EPA added another lock in 2020. New source performance standards for wood heaters banned any wood-burning device without EPA certification. The Oregon Department of Environmental Quality tested rocket mass heaters and measured particulate emissions of 0.32 grams per hour. EPA-certified wood stoves emit between 2 and 4 grams per hour. The banned technology produces 1/8 the pollution of the legal alternative. Follow the money. The North American HVAC industry generated $25.6 billion in 2023. That revenue depends on homeowners buying systems that need replacing every 15 to 20 years. A rocket mass heater lasts 50 years or more with zero maintenance. Every homeowner who builds one represents $40,000 in lost HVAC sales over a lifetime. The burial was not a single conspiracy, but a convergence of economic interests. HVAC manufacturers wanted repeat customers. Utilities wanted monthly bills. Building officials wanted simple checkbox compliance. You can legally install a wood stove that operates at 40% efficiency and emits 4 grams of particulates per hour. You cannot legally install a rocket mass heater that operates at 90% efficiency and emits 0.32 grams per hour. This is not about safety or air quality. This is about market protection. Then the grid started failing. In February 2021, a polar vortex dropped Texas temperatures below 0 degrees. The electric grid collapsed. 4 and 1 to 2 million people lost power. 246 deaths were attributed directly to the storm. In June 2021, a heat dome settled over the Pacific Northwest. Portland reached 116 degrees F. More than 1,400 people died. The common factor in each disaster is total dependence on centralized infrastructure. When the grid fails, modern homes become uninhabitable. Compare this to the Montana Research Station. When the grid goes down, nothing changes. The wood-burning system needs no electricity. The ram pump needs no electricity. The earth battery needs no electricity. The revival is happening quietly outside official channels. Permies.com has more than 200,000 members documenting rocket mass heater builds. Paul Wheaton's documentary, Better Wood Heat, has been distributed over 100,000 times. The regulatory walls are cracking. In 2014, Oregon approved experimental permits for rocket mass heaters. Vermont added a masonry heater exemption in 2015. Let me show you exactly how these three systems work together. The rocket mass heater has 5 main components. The feed tube is where you load wood. The burn tunnel is where primary combustion happens at temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees C. The heat riser is a heavily insulated vertical column that maintains a powerful convective draft. The hot gases then enter a long horizontal channel through thermal mass, typically a cob bench weighing 2 to 3 tons. By the time exhaust exits the flue, temperatures have dropped from 700 degrees to under 100 degrees C. Once heated, the thermal mass continues radiating warmth for 12 to 24 hours. The hydraulic ram pump operates on equally elegant physics. You need a water source at least 2 meters above the pump with a flow rate of at least 4 liters per minute. The waste valve is normally open, allowing water to accelerate. When velocity reaches a critical threshold, the valve clacks shut. Water hammer creates a pressure spike, forcing water through a check valve into a pressure tank and up to the cistern. The cycle repeats 60 to 90 times per minute. The earth battery handles the baseline climate load. Soil below the frost line maintains a near-constant temperature year-round. Installation involves burying 20 centimeter perforated pipes in a grid beneath and around the building. In summer, fans pull hot air through the buried pipes, where heat transfers to the surrounding soil. In winter, cold air enters and returns tempered to 12 to 16 degrees C. Now, consider how these systems integrate. The ram pump fills an elevated cistern from a stream. Gravity then feeds water to the house. The earth battery handles 80 to 90% of the heating and cooling passively. The rocket mass heater provides supplemental heat during the coldest periods. Combined utility cost at documented installations is $0 per year. If you want to start building these systems, Ernie and Erica Wisner maintain open-source rocket mass heater plans at permies.com. For ram pumps, search Papa's Homemade on YouTube or download the technical brief from Clemson University Extension Service. Before you build, check your local building codes carefully. Many jurisdictions have agricultural exemptions allowing these systems in outbuildings. Some rural counties conduct minimal inspections. Every technology discussed exists. Everyone works. Everyone has worked for centuries or millennia. The only barrier between you and these systems is information. And now you have it. They ban these technologies because they work too well. Because a home that needs no utility connection generates no monthly revenue. Because a heater that lasts 50 years sells once instead of 3 times. The combination of rocket mass heaters, ram pumps, and earth batteries represents a fascinating convergence of appropriate technology that has gained traction among homesteaders, permaculturists, and off-grid enthusiasts seeking energy independence. Rocket mass heaters, which evolved from rocket stove designs pioneered by Ianto Evans and others at the Cobb Cottage Company in Oregon during the 1980s and 1990s, burn wood at extremely high temperatures in a J-tube or batch box combustion chamber, then route the hot gases through a massive thermal mass, like cob or stone, that radiates heat slowly over many hours, achieving remarkable efficiency with reportedly 80 to 90% less wood than conventional stoves. Meanwhile, the hydraulic ram pump is a much older technology dating back to 1796, when Joseph Michel Montgolfier invented it in France. It uses the kinetic energy of flowing water to pump a portion of that water to a higher elevation without any external power source, making it invaluable for homesteads with streams or springs where gravity-fed irrigation or a household water supply would otherwise be impossible. Earth batteries, sometimes called telluric current collectors, tap into small voltage differentials in the soil using buried electrodes of dissimilar metals, a concept explored as far back as the 19th century and revived by experimenters seeking to power small loads like LED lights or sensors. Together, these technologies have been integrated by innovative homesteaders. For example, Some have used ram pumps to feed water storage tanks that provide pressure for household use, while a rocket mass heater warms a home and provides hot water through embedded coils, and earth batteries trickle charge small electronics or power garden monitoring systems. While earth batteries produce only milliwatts of power and remain more experimental than practical for serious energy needs, the trio embodies a philosophy of working with natural systems rather than against them, a theme central to the permaculture movement that has championed these technologies since the 1970s. The grid will fail again. When your neighbors are sitting in the dark, you will have heat and water and stable temperatures regardless of what happens outside. What you build, you control. What you control, no one can shut off. If this story changes how you view the hidden potential of efficient living, please subscribe and like the channel. We are uncovering the history and technology that they have tried to bury. Let's build a more resilient future together. The next hidden treasure of knowledge will be revealed soon.